Hello, today I'm gonna recommend a perfect album. The artist is Morphine, the album is The Night, it's from 2000, the label is DreamWorks. This is the fifth and final studio album from Morphine. If you don't know them, they are basically bass, saxophone, and drums with vocals. The main force here is Mark Sandman. The recording sessions for this were completed shortly before Mark Sandman died. Tragically, in July 1999, he died of a heart attack while on stage in Italy, and he was only 46. They say it was due to stress and intense heat, but some speculate that it was drug related. And it's sad that he passed on, and I really wonder what they might have done if he hadn't, because I think with this album, they really hit their stride. That's not to say I don't like their other albums, because I do, but this one is just a masterpiece in my opinion. Mostly of atmosphere. There is a sensuality to this. It feels like driving down a highway at night, kind of dark, hypnotic, nocturnal, essential listening. Here's the track list. The standout on here is the song The Night. I just adore this song for many reasons, but it has this smoky vocals and sax. When this song comes on, it always kind of hits me. It's one of those songs that is connected to a dark time in my life, and when I hear it, it kind of brings that back up. However, it is such a beautiful song that it's not one of those things I can just never hear again. I just love the song. Souvenir is also very dark. I love the distorted vocals. I like how it starts very down tempo, but then builds and becomes very powerful. Top Floor, Bottom Buzzer is very sexy and funky. This reminds me a lot of my time living in downtown Detroit, kind of in the bohemian area there. And there's something very bohemian about this song. A Good Woman is hard to find. This is gritty and tough. It chugs along, it's jazzy, but also very rock and roll. Kind of sits somewhere in between those two things. But one thing to note about this entire album is it's very noir. It feels like noir. You know, it's got femme fatales and smoky bars and the whole thing. The Way We Met, this gets a little bit avant-garde at times. It's almost like Kerouac beat poetry or something. I singled these tracks out, but the entire album is gorgeous. The pros. The combination of his sultry slide bass with the saxophone is just beautiful. All the songs are kind of haunting, you know, they're kind of like a slow burn, very atmospheric. This is super cynical and jaded if you like that kind of thing. It's almost exhausting in some ways, but the lyrics are quite deep. Mark Sandman was a haunted person, I think, and this is very evident when you listen to his music. The cons. This could be too bleak. You know, it is quite dour at times. If you are already depressed, this might drag you deeper. There are some that think the arrangements are a little too sparse or empty, but I actually think that's a strength. They are masters at using the empty space well. Final thoughts. I think this holds up really well despite being 26 years old. I just think it's seductive and dark and beautiful. Even the album cover is a masterpiece and fits the music perfectly. It's not the image you would think of, but it works. And maybe that's something to say about the band, is that they always seem to make these choices. It's aiming for something, but then it kind of subverts the expectations. And by doing this, they arrive at something mysterious and truthful. Anyway, I think it's a classic. If you haven't heard it, you should check it out. But that's all I got today. If there's anything you want to say about this, you can post that below. Take care. Have a good day.